believe we hit 20 episodes. 20 podcasts later, and holy shit, where has the time gone? Honestly, like, I'm pretty happy with myself that I hit 20. I won't lie, because even starting this, I didn't think I'd make 5, considering where the fuck I was and the massive gap between each episode. Because this episode is basically going to be more of a reflection. It's going to be, we're going to talk about the last few weeks. We're going to answer a few questions, which I found a couple from my very good friends from Driveway Conversations, John and Lois. If you aren't aware, they have a podcast series called Driveway Conversations. I've been on there before a couple of times. They are fucking amazing people, like one of the most beautiful people on earth. Like, the conversations we have are just incredible. And they posted some questions on their Instagram, which I'm actually going to pinch. But I need to put my phone on silent because that's just fucking rude. But yeah, we're going to answer a few questions from that, along with We're Not Really Strangers as well. There are a few questions on there. And we're going to reflect on the last 20 podcasts briefly of what's, where did I start and where I am right now. And honestly, a lot's changed, but it's also the same. Because the setup's the same. It's the same shit. I've still got the same mic. I've got this Blue Yeti, I don't know, the Blue Yeti microphone. I don't really know what it is, but the next coming weeks, I will fork out, I'm not going to say a lot of money, because you actually don't need a lot of money to start a podcast at all. You don't need much. I want to get some mic stands. I want to get 2 proper decent microphones, and, whenever I have a guest over, because now I have a new setup for my room. So where I used to record for my YouTube videos, I used to have the setup in the background was always changing, but it was always in the same room. Now it's just completely different. I've repainted my feature wall. It's a charcoal color, and no one knows apart from people on IG. So you aren't following me, Verdugo Vibes. But I've redone it. Like, I've got a couch, I've got a rug, I've got like this 8-cube unit with my record player on top. I'm in the market to get a new TV. So I want it, not even new, I want to get my first TV, and I want it to be very, very good with my TV unit and stuff. And I'll have a video for it, but there's a bit of a side note. But this room, I want it to be a welcoming, cozy, but aesthetically pleasing room at the same time, where I'll be filming my podcast, my YouTube videos, and I'll have guests over. Like, I'll have a few friends over, 1 or 2 friends, and just record a podcast on the couch, on the chair, have the mic stands there so we can all each talk into the mic. So that's something I'm really looking forward to for the podcast, and have more people on the pod too. Most recent one being Ruben, who was fantastic on the pod, and we got a really, really good response from it, because he's one of my only real life fashion friends, if that makes sense. Like, not really, like, it's really hard to explain, but when I meet with Ruben, we can just chat shit about fashion all day, every day, and we just don't stop. And after the end of every conversation, or every time I see him after it, I'm so gassed to buy clothing. And he's one of the very few people that I have that connection with in terms of fashion. So I definitely want to have him on the pod a lot more. And other people too. Like, one of my mates came up to me and said, bro, I'd love to have be on the pod one day and just talk shit. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's fucking do it one day, like 100%. Because sometimes, being alone, it can be a bit hard sometimes, because I don't have a conversation with someone. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys right now, but I love to have a second opinion. Like, for my recent podcast, which was the relationship stories, which I found on Reddit, that would have been amazing to have a second opinion, and it would have been freaking awesome to have someone else on there. So that's not the only time I will do it. I'm definitely going to do it in the future too, because I feel like that's going to be a new series, which I'll do every single month, and just fork out a few stories, because they're really engaging and really eye-opening, if that makes sense, because you can learn a lot from other, it's not shit to say, but you can learn from other people's mistakes, obviously. And when it comes to situations like that, you can definitely learn a lot. And I have most definitely learned heaps reading those stories. But the first ever podcast was titled Episode 1 Konnichiwa, and it was October 29th of 2018. That was my first one. In the episode, I discussed the atmosphere of Japan, including the food, fashion, and places to explore. It was very basic. And that's what really paved the way, and people really loved that podcast, especially the third one, which was towards the end of 2018 too. But that was where I came back from Japan and really wanted to, I don't know, it was like a little light bulb just turned on in my head and was like, why don't we start a podcast? And mind you, like, they weren't really, really popping off. Yeah, they were a little bit. I was watching a lot of the Joe Rogan podcast, typical dude, like literally a typical guy to watch Joe Rogan. But he was one of the few, along with Joe Budden as well. They're the only two I really listen to every once in a while. But yeah, after I got back from Japan, I was like, you know what? Actually, it'd be pretty cool to give a podcast and give advice and tips for people who go to Japan, because being an Australian guy or an Australian person, like, it's so easy to go to Japan. It costs like $300-$400 return flights, which is stupid pricing. So you can go there for like a couple weeks, spend like maximum like $3-4 grand and have the time of your life. Yeah, if you're in my situation, or if, you know, if you're listening to this and have the same taste, oh man, you're going to spend a lot of money. Not on food, on the fucking rails, the steels, the fucking fuego pieces that you find in Japan. Oh my God. The Issey store, you could just drop one fat fucking stack and it wouldn't hurt, because like, you're overseas. It doesn't matter. Like, you worry about money when you get back, but you can go there, drop a stack at Issey and then get like two things. Not even two things. You get a couple, especially if you get trousers. But definitely when I go back, I really want to save a lot more money and go with an empty suitcase and literally like 1 or 2 outfits. Because in my third episode, so second episode was Calma Coffee, and that was related to the Melbourne Cup Day public holiday, the stresses of studying. This was towards the end where people were finishing their exams, people were finishing university, and just wanted to give my tips of, you know, how to deal with that stuff, which is pretty cool. But my third one, which really popped off, was Shimokitazawa. That was the title. And that was, you know, detailing the trip of Japan. Oh, that would have been like, no, actually that third episode would have been me coming back. The first episode I ever done would have been just before I went. And the third episode was in December. So I came back from Japan literally a week before Christmas and discussed like the thrifting steez of Japan and what locations to check out. And that was a very, very good podcast. It went for a very long time too, like an hour and 40. Oh my days. What the fuck? But the one podcast which kind of put me back into the swing of things would have been titled Broken, and that was episode 5. So between 4 and 5 was like my hiatus through some very, very dark and depressing shit. And that was like, look, I'll be very honest, probably a couple days ago, I was definitely like not right. Like, I don't know what happened. I literally woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Like, as so cliche and like dumb as it sounds, I woke up and I don't know, something just wasn't right. And it's not like, I'm not gonna say nothing's wrong, because, you know, like, yeah, quarantine and ISO, it could be getting to me a bit. Like financially, it's not bad at the moment, especially with the government helping me out and every other individual on the fucking planet, or mainly in Australia, who's getting helped out with unemployment and stuff. But I don't know, just a couple of days ago, I woke up and I just was so anxious and irritated. Not even irritated, I was agitated. And just, like, I almost felt like I was back at square one. Like, I remember when I went to bed that night, I just thought, I feel like I'm back to where I was. And that's just, that happens. Like, reflecting on it now, a couple of days later, it happens. Because someone who, you know, has been through depression and anxiety and stuff, like, it's I'm not going to say it's never fully gone, because it honestly can, but there's going to be days, there will be days where something just doesn't sit right. Your body acts a certain way, and not even your body, it's your mind that just completely does a complete 180. And I just felt bad, because like, I felt bad for my family, I felt bad for my partner, because I was just not in the fucking mood. I was dumb anxious, man, and thinking about the dumbest shit, and just really upset, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But those are just those days, and I get them every once in a while, and it's not to say that it's someone else's fault. It's just, it's a way I really want to say it's a way of life for people that suffer through depression, but honestly, this just can be one of those days. But I really thought I'd get that out there because that was something that happened a couple of days ago, and that will be reflected in the questions later on. But the Broken podcast, which was episode 5, would be probably around October time. It would have been October-ish. That was when I had the hiatus from like Jan, and then October I came back with my first video on YouTube, and I was insanely fucking scared to post that video and do this pod as well because I was gone for quite a while. Like I went from December time until October, and all I thought was everyone forgot about me. I'm not going to get any views again. No one's going to watch my vids again. And that's not to say like I'm not in it for the views, but I just want to get out there. Like, if that makes sense. I don't know if it really does, but it's not like I'm fishing for views and stuff. I just want my videos to be out there so people can see it and really hope the videos help other people. So my main idea when I posted that was no one's going to see this, and what's the fucking point in doing this? And obviously it was complete opposite reaction. I got an insane amount of just support and just love, and I was so overwhelmed and so thankful for that. And if it wasn't for that video and if it wasn't for that podcast, I definitely wouldn't be here today, honestly, because I remember that day and I remember that night like it was yesterday. I posted at 10 o'clock, went to the gym at 10:15. I got to the gym and my phone blew up, and all I was thinking was, holy shit, this is not what I expected. And that probably was the best gym workout I've ever had in my life, and nothing will ever surpass that because the support I got was insane. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to whoever's listening to this. Thank you. But moving on, I went through the relationships one, which I went through a pretty bad breakup. I wouldn't say bad, but it was like a pretty hectic period in my life, And basically that podcast, I spilled out all the beans of how to deal with stuff like this. And if you want to go and check it out, you can go and check it out. But then, 2020 came around, and then that's when I, put my foot down, was okay, let's make this a weekly thing. Let's fucking do it. So then from then on, I posted, every Tuesday as much as I could. There were some days or some weeks where I just couldn't. Mainly because I forgot. Not so much I forgot. I was like busy on a Monday and I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, well, we'll do it next week. But there'll be other days where I just, creativity-wise and content-wise, when there's no one else here, it is extremely hard to come up with concepts and ideas and, pods, because sometimes I'll go through days where just nothing really happens. There's no spice, and especially with quarantine and ISO, there's no spice being thrown around. So you have to really come up with something that's a bit intriguing for you guys to be engaged in. So, throughout then on, I've posted almost every single week, and here we are at episode 20. And I'm looking back, because I never really look back at this really at all. Like, I'll post and then forget about it or whatever, but I'm extremely thankful for every single person who listens to this podcast. And honestly, I'm a bit emotional right now. I won't lie to you. Honestly, I really am, because, this is something I really love doing. It's cool. It's really cool. And getting my thoughts out there and opinions and stuff. And that's not to say my opinion is the best one ever, because half the time it's fucking not. Most of the time it's not. But I really like getting just content out there, stories, tips, whatever it is, whatever. And you listening from start to finish, it really, really fucking means a lot. And I can't stress that enough. So thank you. But moving on from the emotional side of things, we hit 20, and the next goal, it'll be 50. It will be 50. I've always thought about doing maybe 2 pods a week, but I've always struggled with 1 in terms of creativity wise. So I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do 2. But for the time being, it'll just be 1, and I'm quite happy with where I am at the moment. Everything's good. I'm chill, it's a vibe. But now we're going to get into some questions, it's more so self-reflected questions. So 2 of the questions I actually found, like I said at the start of the podcast, I found from Driveway Conversations, John and Lois. if you listen to this, you're both a bunch of just sexy individuals, and I love you guys to death. But they post on Instagram, and I was like, these questions are fucking sick. They're really dope, and I really want to put them on my pod and give my thoughts on it. So one of them was, and then like towards the end, I'm going to do more so of the "We're Not Really Strangers," which is very emotionally reflective questions. But this one is something simple as, what is something that you've always wanted to do? How has being in lockdown changed that? Now, there are a few things which I've kind of done since lockdown. I took up guitar. I took up playing an instrument. I've had 2 guitars sitting in my study for over 10 fucking years. I think it's 10 years. Yeah, easily over 10 years. They've sat there collecting dust, not being fucking cared for, and showing no appreciation and love. And was like, you know what? I just woke up one day, something clicked. I thought, this will be pretty cool to pick up back again. Because I was, at the time, I was so scared because when I was a kid, I started playing guitar when I was around 12. It would have been grade 6. Yeah, it would have been end of grade 5, grade 6. It would have been like 11 to 12. So before that, I used to play a lot of keyboard. And funny enough, I found the keyboard as well, but I haven't touched that yet because I want to nail down one instrument before I grab the other, because it's going to be a clusterfuck of information and not know what to do. So when I was around 12, I played guitar for about 1 to 2 years. And at the start, it was obviously very, very difficult because guitar is guitar is probably one of the most, I would say the hardest instrument, just because there's no information there for you to see. If you're looking at it from an outside perspective, if you've never touched a guitar, you look at it and you think 6 strings, you see these lines on the neck and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, there is no form, there's nothing to show you how to play a chord. You have to read information. You have to research information in order to play a chord or be taught how to play it. With the keyboard, you can see the black and white keys in front of you. Like, whereas the 6 strings are there, and technically when you're playing the guitar upright straight and the guitar is straight, you don't see nothing. All you see is the top of the neck and the top of the guitar, and that's it. It is all up to your fingers and muscle memory to be able to learn. So I'm extremely, extremely thankful for my parents for taking me to guitar lessons because I picked up and thought, okay, I've kind of got a gist of how to play, like in terms of feeling how to play and holding it and stringing it with obviously the guitar pick, and I already had a felt for the guitar already, so it wasn't so overwhelming. That's not to say it wasn't, because it definitely was when I was trying to learn stuff. But that was one thing that I'm very happy that I've always wanted to do. Since I was 12, I wanted to play, and then I picked it up, played it for a bit. I got stuck on one fucking song, and that made me put down the guitar for over 10 years. Could you fucking imagine that? And you want to know what song that is? It's Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. And that song right now, till this, like literally from yesterday, I'm starting to learn it because I've felt like I've built enough confidence to be able to start learning how to play that specific song, because that song for me when I was a kid was a make it or break it, and it broke me. So I think I took up guitar, it's probably been a month now since I've started playing. I played it for honestly, first week was smashing. Then I probably took a week and a half off, and now I got back into it a week and a half again. So realistically, been playing for 3 weeks, and holy shit, the progress that I've made has been pretty significant, and I'm pretty proud of that because I've learned how to play Come As You Are by Nirvana, which if you've never played guitar before, I highly recommend you guys learn that song first, because it is extremely easy when I really do think about it. And it's easy, but it has a level of difficulty to it if you've never played. And I didn't touch the guitar. Then I picked it up and was like, that song is one of my favorite songs. I was like, you know what? Let's have a look online on YouTube to see how it's being played. Looked at this guy play it. Marty Music. Go ahead and look it up. He's an incredible dude. Showed, I was like, yeah, that actually looked quite easy. And then obviously muscle memory comes in. You're trying to tell your fingers what to do, and it's not doing it, and you're getting agitated and angry and just can you fucking do it? And it just doesn't. So over time, you'll get it. And that was one thing which I've learned over the past year or two. I remember watching this podcast probably about a year ago. It was, if you're stuck on something, don't force yourself to try and learn it because you only get worse. If you're stuck on something, do it for like a couple more minutes and then just put it down, go to bed, wake up and do it again. Because your body turns, it can retain the information that you've learned within the last like 4 or 5 hours or whatever many hours it is. Whatever you've done, you sleep on it, your body tends to, it's almost like a sponge with your information. It absorbs it overnight. And then you come back in the morning or whenever you want to play it next. Let's say I played it yesterday at night. Come back tonight when I play it. I'm pretty shocked at how I remembered how to play it without even thinking about it. I'm getting a bit stuck on my words, but I just found it. Your body solves your problem when you're asleep. That's legit what it is. And it's crazy to think about. So that was one thing which I'm happy I picked up. And now I've learned Enter Sandman by Metallica. That took me about a week, honestly. And this is from a beginner. Like, I don't know chords. I don't know anything. I don't know notes, nothing. So I just played from just watching some dude on YouTube put his fingers on which fret, and that was it. And then you can slowly start to pick up like the notes of the strings, but even then I'll still be So I've learned Enter Sandman. I've learned Come As You Are, and I'm in the middle of Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Because every time I listen to that song, man, that is like, I reckon when I fully learn how to play that, like, I might break a tear. I honestly might. Because that song hits so fucking hard. It hit hard. It hits home, bro. It really does. And when I learn that, I'll be pretty keen. Like, I've learned this first solo, or the solo or intro solo. I've learned that almost. I just want to perfect it and then get into the chords, which I've never touched before. So the chords will be next. And then, further down the line, like maybe towards the end of the year, I might buy a Telecaster, maybe. That was just like a dream guitar of mine since I was a kid. I've always heard about the Telecaster, and it's just a gorgeous guitar. And I really want an Olympic white Telecaster, which is just gorgeous. Whether it be vintage or brand new, I don't really care, because I'm not that deep into, guitar equipment. I just want a nice guitar, and that's it. So, mind you, I've got a Ashton acoustic and then an SX or an FX SX, I think is what it's called, electric guitar. It's a beginner guitar. It's nothing too crazy, but it's been sitting there for 10 years, picked it up and played it, and it's like brand new. Honestly, it is amazing it's amazing how much a guitar could do if you just don't touch it, because nothing happens. You could have a guitar that sits there for 20 years, bring it back up, tighten the strings a bit, change them, boom, plays fucking brand new. And even then, has like a bit of just vintage feel to it when you play it. Just watching these like YouTube videos of people playing with their guitars and acoustics as well, it's just gorgeous. But I'm going to be a side note, because obviously this isn't a guitar related podcast, obviously not. But that's one thing that's really, really helped with this ISO, most definitely. So, but one thing I saw on We're Not Really Strangers, which was pretty, relevant to this question, the quote was, "Stop being so hard on yourself. You're doing your best with what you know." And that couldn't be more true. It honestly couldn't. And you can relate that to a variety of different things. You honestly can. I remember I've been playing trying to play a few notes or try to nail down Enter Sandman. I'd be messaging my girl and be like, "I can't get this," and I'm fucking angry. And she'd be like, "Stop being so hard on yourself." And then I see this quote, and it's the exact same shit. You don't need to put yourself down or be so terribly hard on yourself, because you're only doing the best with what information you've learnt or what you've been given. Yeah, there's a lot more information out there for you to get and learn and adapt to your play and adapt to anything that you do in life. But give it time, honestly. Like Enter Sandman is a prime example. I got stuck on one part for like 2 days and thought, fuck, I can't get it. And then I just thought, you know what, let's just sleep on it. Go back tomorrow with a fresh mind, try and play it again. And then boom, happy days. I ended up posting on my Instagram. I didn't have the balls to do it, but I did. Response I got was a few people would be like, "Yo, that's pretty cool. It sucks that you're left-handed, but it's pretty cool." That's when the whole, you're left-handed, that's gonna suck type idea that goes on. But anyways, so that quote was pretty, I thought was pretty relevant to anything in life, whether it be starting a new marketing job or when I get back, when I get into the marketing scene. I don't know anything, but I want to do the best with what I have and what I've learned over the years of YouTube, retail, working, whatever. I want to do my best, and all I can do is learn. That's all it is. So, moving on to the next question, which was pretty interesting, is it's a bit 180, but do I have any guilty pleasures? Do you have any guilty pleasures, especially with ISO being going around, not going around, you fuck. What guilty pleasure you've been doing since ISO? And oh my days, the 4 a.m. COD sessions are my guilty fucking pleasure, bro. Oh my god. Oh, it's getting to a point where it's affecting me so badly. Like, it doesn't help because we start, me and the boys will start at 8. I remember this one night. It was so fucked. One night, we started at 8. You're going to freak out when you hear this. We started at 8 or 8:30, right? And this is probably the first week of... Because Warzone's been out for a while. But realistically, the boys and I, we only really started playing maybe 3 weeks ago. 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. And in that first week, I remember it was like the 4th or 5th day, we got on at 8 o'clock at night and didn't stop playing until 4 a.m. Non-stop. I reckon we had a 15-minute break. We just got some food. And I remember when I got up that night to turn it off and go to bed, I couldn't feel my fucking legs because I was sat down for so long, hunched over in that fucking gamer's position because we're just sweaty fucks and really wanted to win, and we didn't win for ages. And that night really was just, yeah. And ever since then, now we get on, we'll play till 3, 4 a.m. and it's fucked. Okay, think of it this way. If it wasn't for ISO, this wouldn't be happening, okay? So I'm super grateful that ISO's around to be able to play with the boys until 4 a.m. that fucking night and just catch massive vibes and fucking dubs. And if we don't have a dub last, I don't know, whatever day it was we were playing, smashing kills and shit, not winning, but still be yo, but we got kills, so it doesn't really matter. No one cares. But that's a guilty pleasure, man. It's just fucking COD. It's just taken a toll. It really has. Oh God. And I know some people can relate with Animal Crossing. Is that the new wave? Is that the Switch wave? Is Animal Crossing? I know one of my good friends, my favorite couple, if they're listening, they know who they are. They're playing Animal Crossing with their other group and stuff, and just watching what the fuck? This is the wave where people get on Animal Crossing, built their own home, which is pretty insane to think about because that's your decor home interior design in a game, which is pretty sick. Because interior design, I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks with decorating this room, basically doing decor and plants and units and rugs, and bro, that shit's just, it's insane how much of it. It's just another fucking realm. And then you got color palettes and matching colors and what designs go with what, bro. Stuff. It's intricate as hell. But that's probably my guilty pleasure right now is definitely COD. I say one last game. I literally mean one last game and not 10 games later. Because mind you, if we make top 10, that's 25 minutes gone. And it's an intense 25 minutes too. If you aren't on it, man, jump on Warzone. My name on PSN is RobVerds, ROBVERDS. Feel free to add me, whatever. Have a sesh. The boys. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fucking intense. I won't lie to you. I'm not shit, but I'm not really insanely good either. I'm not fucking a freak. I'm just average. Yeah, I'm pretty much average. I really want to get good, but I don't know how to. I really don't. But moving on. Moving on. This next question, which we'll leave it to the last one because I don't want to go for too long because I like to keep them, with relatively 30 to 45 minutes podcast. But with this one actually came from We're Not Really Strangers. And this is more so reflective of the ISO as well. But what has the oh my days, I can't speak, bro. I really can't. You know what? We leave it because I don't care. What has these? What? No. What have these past couple weeks taught you? Simple as that. I don't know why it took me so long to fucking read that. What have these last couple weeks taught me? They've taught me a lot, honestly. They really have. They've, especially with ISO and everything going around, you have a lot of time. Time to reflect, time to fucking be anxious. But more so, these past couple of weeks have really been quite eventful, to be honest. They have been. But, they've... One major thing that I learned a couple of weeks ago, most definitely, was... I had a conversation with my friends, and we went on the conversation of, I was just feeling really anxious for, a couple days. I didn't really say anything. I was just really... I was just extremely anxious and overthinking a lot of situations which shouldn't really be thought of at all. I had a conversation with my friend about it, and she was saying to me, you need to just stop overthinking shit. I know it's hard because she suffers the same. We overthink shit. But they said to me, don't overthink it and just look at what's in front of you. And I was like, okay. Because this is the thing. If you think a certain way, and this is the thing with anxiety, tell you exactly how it feels. This is probably the best way to put it. As I read about it the other, probably last week or something, I was like, yo, that's so true. It was think when something's in front of you, okay, and you think of a situation based on what's in front of you, that's not going to happen. It's with all the evidence that's in front of you, and it's never ever going to happen, and you think of that really, of a certain situation, you put yourself in that emotional state and that feeling of that situation, even though it's not true. I really don't know how else to put it, but let's say, for an example, okay, let's put this in writing, mate. Let's say, I don't really want to say, but I'm going to, because I know it's not going to happen. Because right now the situation in Australia is pretty good. But my grandma got tested for coronavirus the other day. It was not even the other day, it was last weekend. She got tested for coronavirus. And it took 2 days to get the test back. And she kept saying, I know I don't have it. It's fine. I know I don't have it. I just have a little bit of a sore throat. She called the doctor. I was like, I always get this sore throat. It's more so allergies, and I always get a bit of a cold in every winter. It just happens. So the doctor told her, look, go through the drive-through coronavirus testing, get it done. And this is the situation which I can put it to. When she told me, okay, I was like, okay, let me know. Take the car, go, come back. Let me know in 2 days and I'll pick up the car, whatever. Or I picked up that night. I don't really remember. But when she told me and I went home, the feeling, because this is the thing, all I thought about was she fucking has it and it's because of me. And that's all I thought about, okay? I thought of it as I gave it to her. I fucking gave it to her. Why didn't I wear gloves this one time I went to Safeway? Why didn't I just stay home and thinking of all these situations which weren't even the case? Because, end of story, she doesn't have it, okay? So thank fuck for that. But the feeling that I got was the fight or flight response. It was, all I was thinking was, I gave it to her. What am I going to do without her? What the fuck's going to happen? All these situations going through my head, and the state that I was in was not fucking good, because I put myself in, I put my body's, I put my emotions and my feelings in that situation, even though it didn't happen. It's thinking of a certain situation, feeling that just fucked up feeling in your body and your stomach and your minds, and it's feeling this certain way before it's supposed to happen, or even if it doesn't even happen, Like if the news came that she does have it and that she got the coronavirus, that's when, okay, holy fuck, that's when I can react. But there is no need to react beforehand and think of the situations which could occur, even though the evidence suggests otherwise, And that was what my friend told me. She said, look at all this evidence in front of you. Look at all this stuff that's in front of you. Just take it for face value. Don't think of other shit because it doesn't connect. They don't connect the dots. That was one major thing that I was taught, in the last couple of weeks. So apart from the other day, like I said before, earlier in the podcast, the other day of waking up and just feeling just absolute fucking trash. Like there's just those days where, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Shout outs to Rocky. It's not, it does come and go. It's not to say it's going to be embedded in my fucking skin, but there will be days and I just have to find a way to be able to combat that and really turn the tables on it and not let it get to me. Because the one thing was when I felt like that the other day, when I felt like pretty anxious and pretty sad, to be honest, and there was no reason to be, I had that feeling throughout the whole of 2019. Like it's pretty, now thinking about it right now, okay, thinking about this, I was so scared of feeling that certain way back then and fucking it up again. That was that's honestly what it was. I didn't want to fuck up again because that's one thing us humans are scared of. We're scared of failure. And I thought I failed in 2019 big time. And coming back to 2020, yeah, things obviously with ISO and shit, it's pretty shitty. But there's other aspects in my life which I'm fucking over the moon about. And it's, I'm taking it for face value and think, you know what? This is good. It's fine. Shit's good. Stuff slowly coming together. And when that one day hits me, it's dude, I don't fucking need this because I don't want to go back to square one and I don't want to fuck things up. That's honestly what it is. I don't want to fuck things up for myself. I don't want to fuck things up for other people. I really don't. So when that day comes around and I just don't feel great, I'm not myself, then, maybe maybe there can be ways where I'd be look, maybe I might just need a little bit of time to myself for that day. I don't know. It's just a thing I have to figure out for my own. But it could be worse. And this is the thing. It's the thing that John told me, which was things could be worse, but how far do you go with that term? Okay? It could be, I could be dying tomorrow and say, oh, it could be worse. Yeah, but you're dying tomorrow, man. What the fuck? It can't be worse than that. So with that term, I like to only use it in certain situations. Yeah, ISO's shit. But on the bright side, stage 1 or step 1 to full recovery is in play. We can have groups of 10 now outside, which is amazing. We can have up to 5 people at a house, so we can go and visit our friends and family and stuff, which is great. Cases have gotten down a lot over the past 6 weeks or so. So things are looking good, and I couldn't be more happier. Honestly couldn't. And I'm thankful for that. So with all that being said, I really genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to this podcast for the last 20 episodes. If you're a new person, if you're just new to this, I upload every single Tuesday. I might even push it back to a Monday to get through the Monday blues, possibly. But for the time being, here on the Verdugo podcast, I upload every Tuesday. We talk about topics related to mental health, maybe a bit of fitness, not right now because I'm lazy, but, lifestyle, fashion, stuff like that, just genuine, I can't speak, bro. I'm done. I'm so done. I am fucking done. Thank you for listening, fam. You take care. Take care. Stay safe. Fucking sanitize your hands, bro, because you need to sanitize everywhere you go. Stay safe. And I will see you guys next week on the Verdugo podcast. Take care. Peace.